Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Neha Hamilton, and we are covering this subject called search engine optimization. Today, we are going to finish the topic of on page optimization. Today's lecture agenda is to make you understand the various factors which are involved in on page optimization. Today, we are specifically going to understand what are canonical tags. So, this is today's lecture agenda to understand canonical tags, what they are actually. We will do a quick revision of on page optimization also, and we will finish the topic today itself. So, as you all are aware of that, what search engine optimization is, search engine optimization is the process of improving the organic ranking of your website in response to a particular keyword on search engine result page. This is a flowchart that gives us information about the factors which are involved in on-page optimization. So the factors are like technical optimization, content, design, and internal links, right? These are the four factors which are involved in on-page optimization. What are they? They are technical optimization, content, design, and internal links. When we talk about technical optimization, we talk about server speed. So, a website load time is considered by search engine as part of their evaluation for ranking purposes. Speeding up a server response time is important part of on-page optimization. Your server response time should be as less, as low as possible because this impacts your page loading speed. A server is a host computer which gives you access to the internet that answers your query. Whatever you types on internet, the query is gone to the server, and then server answers you with the URL of a particular website. So you get the access of the internet from a host computer, which is called as server. Now, if the server is loaded with a lot of queries at a single particular time, right? For example, at a particular time, the traffic increases. What happens is the server gets overloaded and sometimes server crashes also. Some server is not able to respond you on time. You are not able to reach that particular website because server is not answering you, right? So this is what happened when end-term exams were going on. A lot of requests came at the same time to the server. Overloading of server happened, and server was not you know able to send the answer of the queries that you were asking for. Your query was you wanted to open the LMS page, and that's what you were not able to open. So the only solution of to improve the server speed is regular maintenance of the server and also keeping up with the memory levels. If the memory is high of the server, if the configuration of the server computer is good, then probably you are not going to have much of a trouble. But if the memory of the computer is not that good, which is acting as a server, then maybe uh, you are going to face a lot of issues. If the server is not working well, the page loading speed increases and the performance of the website also decreases because the clients and customers they do not want to wait beyond a certain time if they click on the URL at the search engine result page or in the address bar they have typed the address of a particular website and they are looking forward to open that for the website to open. If it is taking time, it is very irritating and frustrating for the customer and it impacts your traffic. So in technical optimization, you have to look after your ranking, your marks good. If you're getting from 0 to 49, it's below average. If you are getting 50 to 89, those are average marks. You can check the server speed on page sites.com. After that, source code we have studied. So source code is actually what you write, right, on a Word file. What human beings write on the Word file, that document is called as source code. That document is feeded into a compiler which converts the human language into the machine language so that computer can understand, right? So that is called as source code. Now, coding is something which is very technical that a digital marketer cannot do, right? But yes, if you have a programming degree, if you have good knowledge in writing codes, if you know how to write Java and all the kind of computer languages, then it is easy for you to check the source code as well. Otherwise, you can give instructions to your programmer to do the changes in the source code, remove the undesirable source code, keep the programming as concise and as small as possible, right? Next thing that we have understood is IP address, which is actually a unique identity of your computer, which is a string of numbers which are separated by a point, and the total numbers range from 0 to 3 digits. There can be 1 digit, 2 digit, or 3 digit, and these numbers are from 0 to 255, right? Now, another important thing regarding to IP address in on-page optimization is regarding a SSL certificate. So we have studied that the websites that own a IP address, they have a SSL certificate issued by the hosting company. Now this SSL certificate is submitted to Google to tell them that we are a company who owns the IP address, because it takes a lot of financial budget to own an IP address. If you own an IP address, do procure your SSL certificate so that you can show it to Google, and Google prefers the ranking of those websites who have SSL certificates, taking them as more reputed and financially stable websites or organizations. Okay, so always try to get a dedicated IP address for your organization. The next thing that we have covered in search engine optimization is called as content. So content is king in search engine optimization. As I as I have already told you that the text is very important, the title tag is very important, the length of title tag is very important. It should be from 50 to 60 characters, not less than 50, not greater than 60, so that it fits in the window of search engine result page and it is completely visible to the customer when he is typing for a particular query. If you exceed the limit of 60 characters, you can see that the title tag is broken and it is not completely visible here, right? So that's how these are the things that you should keep in mind when you are writing the title tag of a particular thing. Next comes is the meta description. Whatever is written below the title tag is called as meta description. 43.2% of the people click on a result based on the meta description alone. So people read the meta description, then they decide whether to click on that particular page or not. So meta description should not be more than 160 characters. Okay. Now, when you are writing a content, make sure that there are paragraphs, there are bullet points, there are header tags. Headers means subheadings. What are the uh, you know basic heading of a smaller paragraph which is there in your page, that becomes heading tags or header tags. Italicizing text is also very important. Changing the font size, shape, color sometimes to make some fonts stand out from the rest of them is very important, to show people that this text is more important than this text. So try to organize your page, try to systematize your page, try to add more paragraphs, try to add more bullet points. More and more bullet points will improve the crawling on your page, right? More the tags programming you are going to add in your page, more likely the crawlers are going to visit those pages. After that, we have studied graphics, and we have studied that infographics is something that is related to design of a flowchart. Whenever you facilitate designing of a flowchart, what happens is that when you design a flow chart and you insert that flow chart into a content, you are writing something, and in between that you insert a flow chart that improves the effectiveness of the content that you are writing. Sometimes visual images, visual diagrams, flow charts makes users more comfortable with a particular content as compared to the letter and words, because sometimes you use very difficult words. Sometimes the diction is something that is not understandable by the customer, right? Sometimes the language that you are using is not very simple for the user. You never know what kind of language can be simple and easy for your user. So if you add an infographic, it becomes easy for the customer to understand what you are trying to explain, right? That's why using graphics is very important. It improves the attractiveness of a page, and also it improves the traffic of your page. Now, the next thing that we have to understand is called as image optimization. The image optimization is basically means reducing the size of the file image, or and not impacting the quality of a particular image. Whenever you reduce the size, what happens is that the quality of the website decreases. Sorry, the quality of the image decreases. So you do not want that. You do not want to decrease or deteriorate the quality of an image. You want the quality to be intact, and at the same time you want the images to look good. The quality of the images should be good on Google. So image optimization is that part of on page optimization which deals with optimizing a particular image. Now, what is the meaning of optimization? Reducing the file size of a particular image without impacting the quality of a particular image. Now, this can be done by various softwares that we are talking about, like DTP can do that, but a trained professional can only do that. Okay, a trained professional understands how to reduce the size without impacting the quality. Next important part is video. If you have a parallel YouTube channel and you are writing a content that can be matched with a video that you have uploaded in your channel, you can definitely embed that video in the content itself, or you can give a hyperlink of that particular video in the content. Giving the hyperlink will improve the traffic on your YouTube page also, and at the same time it will improve the effectiveness of the content that you have written, because we know that audio visual content has more impact as compared to the written content. So try to add more and more images, more and more videos in a particular website to make it more interesting. Now, the next step that we have covered is internal links and structure. So, internal linking is something that I have already discussed with you. Internal linking means if you have a website having 10 pages, all those 10 pages should be internally linked. And you can link one web page with other very easily by adding a hyperlink. Giving a hyperlink on the first page for the second page, giving the hyperlink for the first page for the third page, giving the hyperlink for the second page for the fourth page can easily do the trick, right? For example, if you have a page which is not getting any traffic and you have one page which is getting extraordinary amount of traffic, very high traffic. So it is better to connect your high traffic page with the low traffic page, because it increases the probability of people visiting that page also, right? That traffic is not getting, that page is not getting traffic. The reason can be any. Maybe the quality of the page is not good, the content is not good. Maybe there is some technical error in that page. Maybe the crawl depth is very high. So the crawlers are not going to that particular page and not indexing that page. Now, what is crawl depth? This is also something that we have already discussed, right? So crawl depth can be a reason of your page getting low traffic. So how to improve that? How to work on that? You link your low traffic pages with the high traffic pages through hyperlinks. So when people are reading your high traffic pages, they may be diverted to the low traffic page through the hyperlink. And also crawlers can also move from the high traffic page to the low traffic page. So that ways you can improve the visibility of your low traffic page by doing on page optimization. Now, let us understand what is logical structure and crawl depth. Okay, the aim here is to carefully structure menus and to ensure that a website hierarchy contains not more than 4 levels. So I have shown you how do you calculate the crawl depth, right? And uh, this slide is telling us that the crawl depth should not be more than 4 levels. If the crawl depth is greater than 4 levels, then what happens is that your the crawlers are not going to go literally down there below the fourth level because crawlers then move to the next website. So the crawl depth should be kept minimum from 1 level to 4 level, right? It should not be greater than level 4. The fewer levels are, the more quickly a spider is able to reach and crawl all subpages. So I have shown you example of web page where the maximum crawl depth was 2 pages, not beyond that, right? So it is not important to add thousand website, adding 1,000 website to a particular web page, but it is also important to add only limited quality pages to your website, and that too the crawl depth should not be greater than 4. Okay, next is about a good site structure provides your site with site links. Okay, so sometimes you search on Google, and what happens is that the site links are visible on the search engine result page itself. So how these site links are visible on search engine result page itself? So I am going to increase the size. Okay, so I hope now this is clearly visible. So sometimes what happens is that whenever you search for a particular keyword, you get to see these kind of results. What are these kind of results? These kinds of results are actually showing the title tag, the meta description, and also the site links. Site links means the more important pages they are showing you on the search engine result page itself, right? So this is a thing which is very, very important and it improves your ranking. You can see that this is ranking on the first number whenever you type this particular keyword. So why this is ranking first? Because you can see that the site links inside the website is visible on the search engine result page itself. A user can have a view of the architecture of a website before even clicking on a particular website. If that detailed view of your website is coming on search engine result page, that means your website is very well organized. So site links are a listing format in SERPs that show your site's main page along with the several internal links indented below, right? So this refers to a good site structure. Now let's understand that what is scroll depth, which is a part of on page optimization and which is a part of website design, right? Good structures means better crawling. Better crawling means you want the Google crawlers or Google bots to go to each and every page of your website. Now think of two websites. One website is only having 10 pages, and those 10 pages, you know, have not level up to 10, but each page has a crawl depth of only 2. Only 2 means, see, this is level 2, right? So we have depth 0. Then in depth 0, we have lots of hyperlinks through which you can go to depth 1 pages, which are green in color. And then we have through these green pages, through links, you can go to the yellow pages, which is called as depth 2. Okay, so think of a website having only 10 pages and all the pages are on level 2. On the other hand, think of a website having, 5 pages, and what is the linking structure, what is the design of the website? The fifth page is having, fifth page is on level 4, यानी depth 4 के ऊपर वो है. So, what do you think which website is going to do better when it comes to crawl depth or crawling? Definitely the first website is going to work. Why? Because we have to keep the maximum depth up to 2. No matter how many web pages you have, do not overlink your web pages or internally link the web pages, right? So it is important to keep the crawl depth up to level 2 only. Okay, that's when your page is going to get a lot of traffic because the crawlers are going to index your page. Now this is how a sitemaps look like. Okay, when you see a sitemap, you are going to see that how the pages are connected to each other, right? For example, the home page is connected to two pages. Then the second page is connected to fourth page. So this fourth page is on level 2. This fifth page is on level 2. This is level 0. This is level 1. And this is level 2. So fourth and fifth page are on level 2. Sixth and seventh page are on level 3. And eighth page is on level 4. And ninth page is on level 5. Right? So when you are on a home page and if you want to reach page 9, which is the part of the same website, you have to go through these paths. You have to go to home page, then page 2, 5, 7, 8, 9. Then you are going to reach the page number 9. That means the crawl depth is very high, right? So this is level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is at level 5. And what we have studied that it should be between 3 and 4. So the chances of page 9 getting traffic is very low because the crawl depth here is very high and Google doesn't prefer pages with high crawl depth. Okay. Next thing that we have understood is called as internal linking, which is a part of on-page optimization. This determines how link is managed and distributed around a domain and can help increase the relevance of a subpage regarding a particular keyword. Internal links connect your content and give Google an idea of structure of your website. Now we have come to canonization. Ways of avoiding duplicate content include the appropriate use of canonical tags or assigning pages with no indexed attribute. A canonical tag is a way of telling search engine that a specific URL represents the master copy of a page. Using the canonical tag prevents problems caused by identical or duplicate contents appearing on multiple URLs. So let us see a tutorial video on canonical tags to get more idea about what canonical tags do and what they are actually like. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and okay, so we have an expert who is talking about canonical tags. So let's first listen from him.
Hey guys, and welcome to this tutorial on canonical tags. Now this is an SEO topic for creating content that doesn't conflict with each other. So if you're in internet marketing, if you have a website, chances are that you might have canonical tags implemented, but if you don't, it could cause a lot of havoc in your search engine rankings, meaning that it could cause a lot of conflict between similar pages. And that's why canonical tags are there. So let me explain a bit more in depth about what are canonical tags and how it benefits you as an internet marketer or as a blogger or content creator online. So when we create content on our website, a lot of us, we just come up with an idea. Maybe we do research, do keyword research, but maybe we come up with some ideas and maybe we create a series of posts on a specific topic. And they're very similar posts. Now the problem with that is Google tries to understand these pages and by looking at the content and the keywords. And if it feels like all of these pages are very similar, it gets confused and it doesn't know which one of these pages it should rank for the keyword, for that keyword. So what happens is you reach this glass ceiling of basically your content not being able to rank higher than a certain amount. So it might be that those blog posts or those pages on your website might only be able to rank on the second page of Google. And you're scratching your head, you're like, I have a good domain, I have good domain authority, I have good backlinks, why am I not ranking on the first page? It's because these 3 pages, for example, with very similar content could be conflicting, trying to compete with each other, and Google keeps swapping them out, and it's getting confused about which one to actually rank on the first page. So there's some conflict, an internal conflict, as I call it, between these pages. Now, canonical tags are a simple way that you can let Google know that maybe page A, let's call them page A, B, and C. Page A is the main page for this topic. And page B and C are literally supplementary pages. So we would put canonical tags on all 3 of the pages, but page B and C would have canonical tags that point to page A, meaning Google, this page, page A, is meant to be the page you return as a result for this keyword. And then it will ignore page B and C, and suddenly you can get much higher rankings in the search engine results because Google now knows which of these pages, because you told it which of these pages to return. And so you can go break through that glass ceiling and get, for example, on the first page, if you've been struggling to get on the first page, and it will really clarify it. So canonical tags is very simple to implement. Just search canonical tag example. Actually, you know what? A lot of plugins in WordPress, if you use it, for example, Yoast SEO plugin has a canonical tag functionality, so you can actually specify which page is the canonical, which is the main one, for example, and which ones are the secondary pages where you don't want Google to return for those keywords. So really helpful if you have multiple pages targeting very similar content or same keyword, but you only want the main one page returning for that keyword. So it's really important. And I'll also be doing a video at some point about internationalization. If your web
Right, so we got a lot of knowledge about canonical tag from this expert because he actually explained the meaning of canonical tags and how to get rid of that. I mean, how to remove that. This also we have understood. So what are basically canonical tags? A canonical tag is a way of telling search engines that a specific URL represents the master copy of a page. Using the canonical tag prevents problems which is caused by identical or duplicate content appearing on multiple URLs. So you have a website, and this website has, for example, 1300 pages. Now you have a huge website. So there are chances that two or three pages may have almost identical content. Okay, for example, you are a website which is writing content on search engine optimization. Now, when you talk about on-page optimization, there will be a page on your website which will talk about on-page optimization. But when at the same time, when you are describing the process of SEO, then also you have to explain about on-page optimization, right or wrong, right? So this on-page optimization content is appearing, the same content is appearing on two web pages. Now, the question is that you want to help the crawlers. The crawlers got confused when they visit your page. Your huge website having 1300 web pages has lots of pages on which on page optimizations, same content is written. Now, how to tell Google that this is the page relating to this particular keyword that you should relate? For example, we clear cut are telling of Google that Google, if somebody is searching for on page optimization, you please direct them to page number 5. Okay, so how to tell this to Google? This can be done through programming. Okay, we are telling Google that Google, if anybody is specifically searching for SEO process, then please divert them to page number 2 which has SEO process. There are lots of other pages also which have this SEO process written in it, but it is important for you to tell Google straightforwardly that if somebody is specifically asking for SEO process, you have to come on page number 2. So how do you do that? You do have duplicate content in your website, and you want to positively direct Google to those web pages only. So you put canonical tag, right? What do? You put a tag. The name of that tag is called as canonical tag. Okay, to a human, all these URLs represent a single page. To a crawler, through every single one of this URL is a unique page. Even in this limited example, we can see that there are 5 copies of homepage in there. So these are the 5 URLs. If you are clicking on these 5 URLs, you are going to land on a single web page, right? If you are going to write all these 5 URL in Google, you are going to rank on the same web page, but through different sources, right? So, to a search crawler, every single of these URL is a unique page. These URLs give crawler a signal that there are total 5 different pages. Even in this limited example, we can see that 5 copies of homepage is available. In reality, though, this is just a small sample of variations you might encounter, right? So what do? I put canonical tag in front of all these 4 URLs in my program. So I will tell Google that this is the actual page that you want to go, and you please consider this particular URL. Okay, so that is called as canonical tag. Now the next thing is called as URL structure. This aspect involves checking whether search engine friendly URLs are being used and whether the existing URLs are logically related to one another. URL length can be looked at as a part of on-page optimization, right? So URL structure is also very important. right? So I'm going to show you examples of three URL. The first one is this, the first one is the second one is this, and the third one is this. So which URL according to you is a great URL, is a good URL? First, second, or third? Which is good according to you, whether it is first or it is second or third one?
First one, ma'am.
First one. Why? Can anybody explain why the first URL is the best one? Okay, so the first URL is the best one because this URL is very less complicated, right? Here you can see and easily judge that you are going to land on a page which is like puppies adorably confused by rainbow, right? So you are going to land on this particular page. This is the name of the website. Here you are actually confused, right? Post, question mark, ID, lot of undesirable characters are there which doesn't give a clear idea of what that web page contains. Here also you see the URL structure which is very very confusing, containing a lot of characters which doesn't carry any value, right, or any meaning. So the answer is correct that this blue URL is the best URL that we have. And also this URL gives you a good idea of where are you going to land and what are you going to read. So URL structure is also very important when it comes to on-page optimization, because if you don't design the right URL, you are not going to land, you are not going to get a lot of traffic because people get confused, people get puzzled when they see their URL. If you give them a clean and brief URL, it becomes easy for the customers and users to understand and go to that particular web page. Okay, now we have a tag in programming which is called as no index page. Now we have to understand that what is this new index page. So I hope you all understand that what is the meaning of indexing. Indexing happens when the crawlers come to your page and save your page for the future purposes. So that whenever anybody search for a particular query, and if they have the page saved with them in their indexing, they are going to show your page at that particular time. So indexing is very important when it comes to crawling, right? Google saves your page and keep with them, and whenever somebody types a keyword, Google first come to the pages which are already indexed, do the ranking, and give you the result. Now what is a no index page? No index page sorry, is actually a page that you are telling Google not to index. Now, why do you tell Google not to index a particular page? Because that page is a useless page in your website. Maybe that page is having a lot of error. So, meanwhile, you are improving that error. You are written no index in front of that particular page in programming because आप Google को मना कर रहे हो कि मेरे इस पेज को अभी आप मत देखो. Maybe when you are done with the problem solving in that page, maybe you remove the no index tag and then you can allow Google to come to your page. So no index is just a kind of cross sign or red flag to the crawlers. You don't want Google to come to this page. Maybe that is an empty page. Maybe the content is not good. Maybe there is a malware or virus in that particular page. Maybe that page is under construction. Maybe the page doesn't has very important content. The reason can be anything, right? But as a responsible person, as a responsible programmer, you are telling Google not to index this page, because if Google indexes a very bad quality page or a page having broken images or viruses, Google is going to lower down your ranking. So why to give a bad impression to the search engine if we are not ready to showcase that particular page to anybody, right? So that's why that is a point when we use no index tag. So you have to remember in your mind that we are giving a red flag, लाल झंडा दिखा रहे हैं, उसको मना कर रहे हैं, डेंजर का साइन बोल रहे हैं गूगल को कि इस पेज पे आप नहीं आओ. So that page is called as no index page. Finally, we are going to talk about call for action. Now, call for action are those actions that we want our customers to take when they land on our page. We tell them to sign up for a website, to subscribe for a particular newsletter, to try for free, to click on get started, to click on learn more, join us, right? These are the words that are written, you can find on a website, where a website is telling a customer to get associated with a particular web page. Why do we want the customer to get associated? Once a customer gets associated, we get the data of the customer in the form of name, email address, phone number, and all those things, so that we can approach the customer further also. And the another important thing is that once the customer shares all the information with us, then what are we doing is that we are constantly sending them notifications. We are getting in touch with the customer so that we can increase the traffic again. So do not forget to add these kind of call to action options in your website to attract customers. Sign up क्या होता है? In this type of call to action, the audience might be invited to sign up for a free trial, online course, future event, or even a software product. It all depends on CTA's context or an ad or website. What is subscribe? CTA doesn't commit a person to purchase, rather, it invites them to receive updates from the company. Subscribe. So, when you click on subscribe, there is no transaction happening. You just want the customer to get associated with your website. You get time to time notifications from your website. Next is try for free. Nearly every company has a free trial offer today. Each of them are CTAs of this variety, and they allow people to demo a product before deciding if it is if it's worth the cost to them, right? So it is very important to decide the worth of a particular uh, uh, for the customer to decide the worth of a particular product by giving them a free trial. For example, whenever you search for antivirus, they give you a free trial for a month or 15 days, and then you have to pay, right? So this is try for free. Get started. This call to action can drive a variety of behaviors for a company, from a free trial to a virtual reality experience. Learn more. Sometimes all you want to give your potential customer is a little more information so they are prepared to buy something. Join us. Do you manage an online community? Is your product built on collaboration between users? You might find yourself placing Join us somewhere on your website. So there are different CTAs. It depends on the kind of website you have, that what kind of CTA or call to action button that you want to insert in your website, right? If you are a community, you will put join us. If you are selling a product or services, you will maybe you will add try for free. If you are an online news channel, maybe you will add subscribe, right? If you are an e-commerce website, maybe you will put sign up. So there can be different call for action buttons or call to action buttons in the website depending on the type of website you have, right? So I think that's enough for today. We have completed on page optimization, and the new things that we have learned today is the first thing is canonical tag. The second thing that we have learned today is no index tag. And the third thing that we have learned today is call to action or call for action. So you never have to forget these important things that we have discussed in today's class. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining. I'm ending the class now.